Most table saws come with a miter gauge for cross cuts, but they don't fully support the workpiece where the blade exits the wood. That leads to tear-outs and inaccurate cuts. And for smaller parts, it can be really unsafe. So most workers, including you, probably have switched to a sled a long time ago. But even sleds have problems. They get out of square over time, and they also don't support the workpiece properly exactly where the blade comes out of the wood. I went through all of that myself, so I built one that fixes all those problems. Hi, I'm Sean. In this video, I'll show you how I built my adjustable zero clearance sled. And more importantly, the key ideas behind it so you can build your own sled that will stay accurate for a long time. A sled gives you a few major advantages over a miter gauge. It fully supports the workpiece during the cut, it improves accuracy and repeatability, and it's a much safer way to cut small parts and awkward parts. Once you switch to a sled, you don't normally go back. But once you start using a sled, there are a few issues that you'll run into. Over time, they drift out of square, and the gap around the blade becomes wider, which causes tear out. I went through all these issues myself, trying to keep them into square, rebuilding them, building new sleds, adjusting all the time, just to try to keep them accurate. This design solves those problems with two key ideas: a way to precisely adjust the fence, and a way to create and maintain a zero clearance along the length of the cut wherever the blade exits. So now I'll walk through how I built this. So let's get started. The sled consists of a front and rear fence, an alignment screw in the back, a left and right split base, and sliding panels. The sled is built in two halves, one on each side of the blade, connected by the front and rear fences. This keeps everything rigid and aligned while leaving space for the blade and the zero clearance system that sits on top. So after putting a spacer around my blade, I use a marking knife to mark where my miter slots are. Now using those marks, I can get the miter bars added to the base. I can also add some clearance holes for the adjustments on the miter bars. Before I start putting everything together, I will add some wax to the base. And then I can test everything out over on the table saw and make any adjustments to the miter bars. The front fence is your reference surface. This is where your accuracy comes from. The T-track that I ordered requires a fence to be about 40 to 45 millimeters thick. So to do that, I've just got a couple of pieces of 18 millimeter or 3/4 inch Baltic birch plywood, and in between I've got some red MDF that I had laying around. That's about 6 millimeters, and that gives me the thickness that I need. After that's dry, I ran it over the jointer to get one of the edges nice and perpendicular to the face. You could also do this with a hand plane though. The first issue I ran into with all of my previous sleds was maintaining squareness, and this is where most sleds start to fall apart over time. The fence pivots on the right side, and an adjustment screw on the left side lets me dial in the angle very precisely. First I drilled a counter bore and a through hole in the fence and the base and inserted a Chicago style screw. This is the heart of the pivot system. Then I used a router and a circle jig to cut 3 slots for the other bolts, as well as threaded inserts on the underside of the fence. I found this little L bracket which has a hole in it. I just threaded it for an M6 screw, and then I've created a little slot underneath the base where that L bracket sits into. I used a magnet here for the screw to sit up against. I'm not really sure if it's necessary or not, but I added it anyways. And now I've got a way to micro adjust the angle of my front fence. The rear fence is a little bit simpler, and I just attached those with some Spax screws permanently. But even when the sled is perfectly square, the cut itself still isn't well supported, so I added these sliding MDF panels on top of the base, one on each side of the blade. This part makes a huge difference. These move laterally so you can close the gap around the blade and create true zero clearance exactly where you need it. There's a couple things I need to account for here. I need to account for when I move my blade over to 45 degrees. That left panel needs to slide to the left to allow the blade to come right up against the panel, and the right blade needs to close up the gap, so it needs to also slide to the left. In addition to that, on the base I've got to cut slots near the back fence, and the slots will be how I'm going to hang it on the wall for storage. And then about in the middle I've also got to put a couple of threaded inserts in the base, and that will allow me to put some locks in place on the top of the sliding panels so that I can quickly lock those in place once I've moved them to the left or the right. And if that doesn't make any sense, hang on just a second and you'll see. And here you can see that slot that I've put into the base, and as well I've now got a threaded insert going in, and you'll see in just a second how that connects to the top and secures the movable panels. The lock that sits on top of the movable panel needs to have about a 5mm recess to sit underneath so it doesn't interact with anything I'm trying to cut on top of it. So I just use my router to cut out a pocket for that lock to sit down inside. And then a slot for the screw to go down into that threaded insert that we just put in the base. It's at this point that I'll also form the T-track on the top movable panel, and this is so that I can add clamps to the top of the sled. That helps improve accuracy and also keeps my hands safely away from the blade. And now you can see how those two movable panels sit on top of the base. I also made a couple of low profile knobs that sit just below the surface of the panel and screw into that threaded insert in the base. This allows me to quickly lock the panels into place after I've adjusted them. I'll make a video on how I made these, so subscribe and ring the bell so I can let you know when that's available. And if you're interested in building this, I've also put together a set of plans, and I'll leave a link in the description. On the front fence, I also routed out a channel, and this allows me to add a removable insert which helps with the zero clearance as the blade exits into the fence. I made a few of these inserts in case I ever need to refresh that zero clearance. On the back I attached a block which is where the blade will sink itself into as it exits the fence and keeps your hands away from the blade as it comes out the back of the fence. On the top of the T-track I'll mark out both the left and right side of the blade, and then I will drop down some measure tape both left to right and right to left, and then I'll add the stops and adjust those so it's a perfect fit. Now, even with all of that, none of it matters if this next step isn't right. Before using any sled or building any sled for that matter, it's critical that your blade is square to the miter slot. Otherwise, nothing will be accurate. I'm using the 5-cut method, and then I just go to the Jonathan Katz-Moses 5-cut method calculator online, and I'll leave a link for that below. And I can use that with the measurement that I get at the end of my 5-cut method here to figure out how much I need to adjust the fence. As an example, let's say that the calculator tells you you need to move the fence away from you by X amount, so that's clockwise. You just loosen the fence bolts, fit a feeler gauge by X amount between the screw and the fence, and retighten the fence. And if you need to move the fence X amount towards you or counterclockwise, loosen the adjustment screw enough to fit a feeler gauge X amount between the screw and the fence. Loosen and rotate the fence to the screw and retighten the fence. In my case, my two calculations at the end of the 5-cut method were 0.520 inches and 0.524 inches. After plugging those into the calculator said that I needed to rotate the fence towards me, or counterclockwise 0.0027 inches. If you're just starting out, even a basic sled is a big upgrade over a miter gauge. But if you want to make something that stays accurate and gives you clean cuts every time, these features make a big difference. I'll also leave links below to some sled components available on Amazon, like the miter bars and T-tracks. Those are affiliate links, so I may earn a small commission if you order them using my links. It doesn't cost you anything extra, and it helps support the channel. And let me know in the comments, what kind of sled are you using, and what would you improve about it? If you're into precision woodworking, kumiko, or custom furniture projects, please be sure to subscribe.